Hi, this is Akiva Whiteshultz from podcast AASP, All American Sports Podcast. As I am watching live right now, the Seahawks take on the Rams as the Rams just get a first down across the midfield. But let's look back at the Bills-Colts game, as the Colts opening the game with good field positioning, but only have 3 points to show for. Meanwhile, the Bills are the first one to reach the end zone, and it goes back and forth till the third quarter, where the Bills take control, take a 14-point lead, two touchdown lead going into the fourth quarter, and then in the fourth quarter, the Colts rattle a little momentum and get some scores, down 3 with 2 minutes to go with the ball, and they come up short with the last-second Hail Mary from like 50 yards out, and they lose the game. The Bills won 24 straight seasons without a playoff win, and that's going back to 1995, even before Josh Allen was born. And also, just to mention, the Colts rookie kicker missed a 33-yard field goal that might have cost them the game. What I want to just point out is, coming into this game, we all assumed, and as really favorited were the Bills over the Colts, having an insane season led by Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and their defense. But coming into this game, and Colts making this as the way underdogs and making this such a close game, I don't know if it takes a step back for the Bills, but it's definitely not the best of signs for them. But either way, they get the dub nonetheless. They get the win, and they do the job done, and they will be facing the higher seed team from whoever out of the other teams that win, except for the Chiefs. So the Chiefs will be facing the lower seed that's left at whoever wins tomorrow, and the Bills will be facing the higher seed team. But gotta say that this is a great way to start off the playoffs for the NFL in this 2021 year, and we would love to see more games like this. So far as moving on, the Seahawks and Rams game is at half, and the Seahawks are losing 20-10 as the Rams are in the lead after a nice pick six, and then a really nice throw from Wilson on the run to Metcalf to get them the touchdown. But either way, moving on here for the next part of our podcast, we have Ephraim Ravick. Ephraim, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Thanks for coming on to the show. We want to get first your opinions. You want to get your opinions on the Bills game. What do you think for the Bills moving forward?
I think, and this will be surprising to some people, but I think even though they won the game, it was a very bad start for the playoffs.
I totally agree with you, by the way.
Because the Bills, as you know, had a 13-3 record, and they just played a team that just barely made the playoffs, and this town is very much lacking, and somehow the Colts hung on to the very, very last second of the game, and I just don't think that's a great start, because as we know, as the playoffs move on, we play better teams, and it's just not looking good. And I think that if the Bills have any chance of winning the Super Bowl, they will have to get better at moving the game and not just counting on the defense. I think that the offense has
I totally agree. By the way, that they need to stop counting on the big plays at the end and really be leading in the whole game towards forward when they want to win in playoff games. But on the other hand, you still have the momentum and the happiness of the first time winning, as I mentioned, is the first time winning a playoff game since 1995, and it's still going to lead them forward to hopefully they have the momentum in their hands for the next playoff game. But either way, I totally agree with you. It shows a little bit of unsuccessfulness from the Bills. I heard a rumor that you wanted to put money down on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I am asking you this simple question: what do you see in Tampa Bay Buccaneers going forward? Besides for that, they're playing the Washington football team. What do you see extra in them that other people don't? And what do you see good about them?
So, as we all know, you know the name Tom Brady. If you haven't heard the name Tom Brady, then I know where you are.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady is someone that I think it doesn't matter if he is playing against Mahomes or if he's playing against any team. he has a chance.
Sorry to interrupt. By the way, the score is 20-13. Rams are up 20, and the Seahawks have 13 as there's 12-16 left. Yeah, as you were saying.
I think that Tom Brady can go against anyone. I think that he is the best player to ever play in the playoffs. Better than Michael Jordan, and better than Bill Russell, and better than any player to ever play in the playoffs.
Okay.
And
with that experience, you're saying.
Yes. With that said, I think it will be tough because, as we know, he's 43 years old and he's getting older. But I think that Tom Brady is a miracle worker, and he is amazing when it comes down to the last few minutes of the game.
Okay, so what your point is, and this is what, based on my understanding, is that your point is basically you're taking the Bucs because of Brady.
Yes.
Yes.
I think that.
But let me finish. You're taking the Bucs because of Brady, because of people still underestimate him because people think, oh, he's 43, but you're saying he's still Brady, still the Brady we know and love, and you'll take him in the game over any quarterback in the game.
As a Jets fan, and this is as a Jets fan who just don't like Patriots, but I can appreciate Tom Brady and all he's done in his career. And it's just, I think, it's not only Tom Brady. Also, Tom Brady. Look at Tom Brady on the Patriots. He had one receiver, and here he has two unbelievable receivers. He has Chris Godwin and he has Mike Evans. Both of them potential. One of them was heading to the Hall of Fame, and one of them has a potential Hall of Famer. And it just.
By the way,
works.
Antonio Brown's been really good lately.
Antonio Brown's been great, but
he's still Antonio Brown. You never know.
Brown,
either way,
he's hit or miss, and you don't know when he can start
show up
and just leave. But yeah, I think that the Buccaneers are. If you were to put a bet down and you want to make a lot of money, I say your best bet is on the Buccaneers because I think they really do have a chance to take it all this year.
I think the Bucs would be a good bet. Not because of the Brady aspect, because their defense has been so strong lately, but also because they're playing the football team in the first round, which is almost like the favorites by a ton on that game, and they definitely should win. And I don't see them losing unless something crazy happens.
Let me disagree with you there. I think that this game means nothing. I think that it's one game and.
No, I'm not saying it's more than one game. I'm saying it's just an easy start to the playoffs, and they have to play one less meaningful game than other teams. Like for an example, the Ravens, right? Who I really like their team, and I would take personally the Ravens. They're gonna have to play one wild card game, then one divisional round, then the next two rounds, and the Super Bowl. They're just gonna have to play good teams for the whole playoffs. Meanwhile, the Bucs, they not a week off to say, but they get to start off one of the weeks are a very easy team.
So I have a question for you. I'm really trying to understand why you really have so much faith in the Ravens. I don't think that, me personally, I think that they don't have a chance because I think that their team has
say they don't have a chance. That's a little harsh, but
they have so many holes that have to be filled in.
Besides the fact that Lamar Jackson pulls off a Paul Pierce in the middle of the game and needs to take a number 2, the fact that they have so many big names on the defense, including Judon, Campbell, Peters, they have so many huge names, and then on the offensive side, they have one of the best quarterbacks to have right now. At this age, is Lamar Jackson one of the most valuable quarterbacks to have. But right now, I'm just getting an update. Aaron Donald is slow to get up, and he is limping on the sideline. That's a bad side for the Rams as they're up 20-13 with 9:50 to go.
But Wagner is also out. So
Wagner is he still out? Yes, he's still out.
And Wagner and Donald are
the two best defenders on the field, right?
Right.
Either way, let's get back to what we were saying. The Ravens, I think, are a really good team. They have the wide receivers is a little bit of a hole. The running backs have been amazing, really good this year. And then they have, in my personal mind, a quarterback that could create his own, and I would take him either second or third, quarterback, most valuable quarterback.
Let's go through it right now.
Mahomes first.
Mahomes.
And then either him or Rodgers, I would say.
You have Rodgers.
Like playoffs, I'm talking about.
And you have
Wilson, maybe.
You have Allen.
But the thing about Lamar is that he...
And this is just in the playoffs.
I know.
I've seen you 4 players, quarterbacks had better years than...
No, I know they had better years than him, but I really like Lamar's game. At this point, I don't think he's going to be so good for so many years.
By the way, Jared Goff, with his broken thumb, basically, is playing unbelievable so far.
Yeah, as he came in for use the backup opening the game.
And let's not forget Akins.
Akins having an insane game.
It's unbelievable
watching the game right now live.
Coming back from just...
But that big pick six on that screen pass was unbelievable defense. How he split the 2 blocks. But either way,
can we talk about how
we could talk about anyone we want.
Can we talk about how the Rams really, really know how to draft and has never missed a draft ever? Like, they've drafted unbelievably.
Cam Akers they drafted the past year in the 2nd round, which is so far looks like a great pick.
But can we talk about the last 5 drafts?
It's been insane. I totally agree with you. Either way, the Ravens, as I was saying, I really like their team, and I think I think coming out of the East, they have the second to best chance. Coming out of the AFC, I think they have the second to best chances.
Okay, so I still would have to disagree with you after your points. I think they're a good team, but I just don't think they're Super Bowl championship worthy. But okay. We can agree to disagree since we also...
By the way, I heard, I don't know if this is true, you could bet $100 or shekel and get like $380 back if you bet on the Chiefs, or like $360 back if you bet on the Chiefs, which I think is an insane bet. Because I would give them more than like 20, I would give them like 35% chance of winning. Their team is so much better than anyone in the league. And I don't know, I would take that bet any day. But either way,
let's talk more detailed. 100 shekel will get you 350 shekel, or
right.
$350 if you give $100.
Right.
That means that if you were to give $1,000,
right, obviously,
$3,500 or something
right,
like that.
Right, obviously, I was just saying, comparing.
I have to. I agree and I disagree because at the end of the day, you are going to lose $1,000 most chances. Because they only get, at the end of the day, you can't give a team more than a 50% chance.
Obviously. But I'm told this is probably not, I heard this somewhere, I don't remember where.
But now let's speak about the Bucks. You put down $2,500 and you can make $50,000. $50,000.
That's, either way, let's get back to what we were saying with the Bucks and Brady, and they're playing the football team. As I just got updated, Alex Smith will not play tonight, big tough loss. I wouldn't say he's so good, but he's been 5-1 as a starter, which is a good sign for them. Either way, as the Rams Seahawks going out tonight, right now, and the Buccaneers later today, and then the Ravens Titans tomorrow's early game, and the mid game is the Saints Bears, and the late game is the Browns Seahawks. Let me ask you a question. Who do you see coming out of the Steelers Browns game? I think that's one of the best games. Like, I don't know if it's the best game, but I just think the games it's going to be competitive because they're two, in my mind, like a little overrated teams, and I think they're well competitive against each other.
So let me mention something, Akiva. If you were to ask me this question 5 weeks ago,
yeah,
I would say Chiefs. Steelers.
No doubt when they were like and then they lost to the football team.
Juju.
And
Claypool. They were just
Juju, Claypool, Johnson,
and Big Ben was playing
was playing good football.
So it was hard. You couldn't say it was like
they were
Browns, obviously. But now we see the Browns have been playing a great football, and they're a great team with a ton of potential. And they're playing a Steelers team who are been playing very, very bad
lately.
Not been playing like a playoff team. but I would still give the odds to the Steelers.
Because they're home?
I don't think home is such a big thing in this playoffs since we know Corona and
no fans,
no
barely.
fans, and I don't think that's a big factor. But I do think that the Steelers have a better chance. Like I said, Claypool and
Johnson
and Johnson
and Juju, and then their
right.
defense with T.J. Watt and
right,
Fitzpatrick, and their everything. They're all well rounded.
Right. So I would still give my odds to the Steelers, even though I would not be surprised, and I wouldn't blame anyone who would put their money on the Browns, because the Browns are up and coming, unbelievable team who, in the next 5 years, for sure will be winning a Super Bowl. No doubt about it.
But the one thing I don't like about the Browns, I really like their running back together, their pair, with Chubb and with Kareem Hunt. But the one thing which I think is a big minus is Baker Mayfield. There's something about him which I really don't like as a football player. Even though this guy's been America's top commercial guy, he's been in like 6 commercials so far.
I hate him as a quarterback.
I think hate him is a harsh word, but I think
as a team player. I think
he
only plays for his own stats.
I don't know about that, but either way, he is, I think, overrated, and I don't see him being able to lead a good team far into the playoffs.
So I hate to agree with you, but I have to agree with you. Because,
can I ask why you hate to agree with me?
Yes. This is for a different conversation or a different podcast. If you want to know how I would have to hate to agree with Akiva, you have to listen to his next podcast. We'll be talking about that.
If you will be invited, I don't know.
Okay. I say we talk about a little bit of the way this season has been going and Corona. I think that the way
the NFL has pulled this off the season is insane.
Everyone played 16 games.
There's been a little ups and downs with the schedule, but I think overall it's been incredible what the NFL was able to pull off.
Right. I think that if you look at every other sport, like we had
the MLB had only a 60-game season.
MLB only had a 6-game season with a ton of cases of Corona, and we had the NBA bubble. They had to make a bubble, and it was great. The bubble.
The bubble was very successful.
Was successful, but at the end of the day, they played in one stadium for the whole 2 months. And
by the way,
it's something hard to do because.
Yeah, I totally agree. Either way, talking about the bubble, let's move to the NBA. How do you feel about the Nets and all their injuries and all their players can't be able to play, and they're starting off 5-5? Who would have thought the Knicks are having better 3 weeks than the Nets? Who would have thought that the Knicks would be the better New York team in the 3 weeks? Because I surely didn't.
So, as a Nets fan, talking to a Knicks fan, I would have to tell you that it's just the beginning.
I know it's
the
just.
Nets are.
I know it's just.
Are an amazing team, and as we know, right, Kyrie, Durant, and Spencer Dinwiddie are out right now.
And they're still winning games.
We'll get into Kyrie in a few minutes.
But, what happened to him, by the way?
We'll get into that in a few minutes. But let's just talk about the Nets right now. I think the Nets are going to have an unbelievable season, and it's just the beginning. And
don't take me wrong, I don't disagree.
And it's just, but if you look at the Nets, let's take it as an example. They played the 76ers, who were 6-1 going into playing against the Nets.
7-1.
So the Sixers had 7-1 or 6-1 going into playing against the Nets, and we know that the Sixers had all their players, but the Nets, on the other hand, they didn't have Spencer Dinwiddie. They didn't have Kyrie.
KD was in protocol.
KD did not.
Was in quarantine.
Right, and so I think that if you look at those,
it's insane what the Nets could build. How they have like two teams in the one.
Right, they have like 2 teams, like you said earlier today. They have it's unbelievable play by Bobby Wagner, who's come back into the game.
And who looks totally fine, by the way. And he made extreme pressure and who's able to. And by the way, it wasn't bad.
It wasn't Wagner.
It was Dull.
It was pressure by Wagner.
And it was Dulup, it looked like, who deflected it and batted it down. Either way, get back to our NBA. Let's talk about the Knicks for a second. Have you watched any? You're not a Knicks fan. I'm not assuming you watched any Knicks game. Knicks.
I've seen how the Knicks games played so far. I have to say that it was
really unexpected.
Unexpected, but I have to say the truth. It's not because I'm only a Nets fan. I have to say this because the Knicks, at the end of the day, they have the same team as they did last year, except for they added one person.
First of all, they have 2 new rookies who look really good.
They have Randall, who's been on the board on the stats board of probably the best stats in the league so far.
Not the best, but top 10.
Up there because, and it's something to look at. It's something to look at, not in a good way or a bad way.
Why?
Not in a bad way for him, in a bad way for the team. Meaning, if he starts going cold, what does that mean for the team? That means that if he starts going cold, the team automatically starts going cold. The same way if you look at the Golden State, if Curry starts going cold, Golden State's going to start going
You could always say that.
right?
You could always say that. You could say that with a guy with great stats. Oh, if he starts going cold, what's going to happen to the team?
No, but I'm sorry, it wasn't a good example because Curry's so much better than Randall. But
either way, my point was the Knicks, though, are looking good. They're playing well-hearted. I love David Fizdale. Tom Fizdale, my bad. Tom Thibodeau. And he looks really good. And he's, as I heard from other interviews with the Knicks players, as every Knicks player was saying how he demands. And if they don't do it right, he'll make him do it right 100 more times. And I think for this squad, for this Knicks team who want it and just putting their effort on their most, they're just playing hearts out. I think this coach really fits into the system, and I think it has a chance to work and make it to the playoffs.
I honestly agree with you about the playoffs. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think the Knicks pick up 1 or 2 players in this next offseason have a chance to make the playoffs, obviously. But I don't think that they are a playoff for now, even though they have started off 5-4. And 10 teams made the playoffs this year from each conference, from each division. Conference. But I still don't think they have a chance. Now let's talk about Kyrie. Kyrie Irving has been missing.
What does that mean?
He's been missing. It said I saw on my notifications that it said Kyrie's missing. No one knows where he is.
Is he with Donald Trump?
That's a good one. Donald Trump also has been missing, but that's because they're not sure exactly if the police can help him anymore, or if his team can help him anymore. They think he's off the hook, and anyone can get to him now. So he's left the White House already. I don't know why we're getting into politics now. This does not really have to do with our sports podcast, but it's something to talk about.
Either way, we will take a break. We will be back after that, and in the meantime,
we are heading towards the fourth quarter.
And 4 minutes left in the third quarter. Seahawks with the ball at midfield. 2013 Rams over the Seahawks, and great game so far. Hopefully, it ends up as the same like the Bills, which is also in the same game. And we will be back after this. So here we are back after the break with a little under 3 minutes left in the Rams-Seahawks game, as the Rams are over the Seahawks 2013 as a handoff there to Chris Carson that doesn't go anywhere. But either way, let's talk some MLB. Let's talk some baseball.
Baseball. Nothing like baseball.
Nothing like baseball. So, anyways, did you see the Mets, by the way, as getting Carrasco and Lindor for Amy Rosario and 2 prospects? I didn't see how good the prospects are. I didn't see the level. I'm sure they're great because Francisco Lindor and Carlos Carrasco are 2 great players.
But I just know that Francisco Lindor has 1 more year on his contract. So that is a very big factor in the Mets trade. Even though they know they're going to get him because they're going to pay a lot of money to get him next year. But
if he wants,
it's a factor that you have to think about who the Mets give away for him.
So wow, what a play there by Jared Goff as he crosses fire to throw it to Robert Woods cross midfield as they're up a touchdown with under a minute to go. But either way, staying with this Mets category, did you hear about the Stevie Cohen guy? I heard he's more of a fan, that he treats him more as a fan and as a franchise than a business, which I think is really good for our organization, and it'll take them to the next level the Mets have been always wanting for the past couple of decades.
Right. So as we know, Steve Cohen is worth $15 billion, and he's a huge Mets fan. And I think the Mets got themselves as you can say, the best cake from the bakery. It's just
Never heard that one before, but yeah, sure.
That's what I just made up. It's basically, I think Steve Cohen has so much to bring to the table. First of all, not to mention his money. As Aaron Donald exits the game, wow.
As he's going to the locker room at the end of the third quarter, that's not good news, by the way, actually horrible news for the Rams.
Terrible news for the Rams. But back to Steve Cohen. Steve Cohen is loaded.
What do you say?
He's loaded.
He's loaded?
There's nothing else to say. And he's going to bring so many new players to the Mets, and he's going to make the Mets team unbelievable. Now,
which they already are.
Teams that just buy into players. I think that's.
But aren't you a Yankee fan?
I am a Yankees fan.
So that all the Stanton, the Cole.
Oh, you want to talk about the Yankees lineup?
Stanton and Cole were all bought.
Oh.
Me as a Yankee fan, I'm saying Stanton, Cole were all bought.
All bought? That's two players.
Two players are two out of the three main players.
Yeah, 2 of the 3 main. Stanton, what has he done for the Yankees so far?
He's been really underrated so far. This past postseason, he's been their hitter.
Okay, so one postseason. What about all the years? You know what the team?
And 2000 and his first year, 2018, he was a big factor and he was very underrated his first year. And then 2019 he was hurt, and then the 20 he was also hurt, but had an insane postseason. Either way, let's switch categories from the Yankees, as I think they are really good. They just need another piece. And by the way, let's get back to that for a second. The DJ LeMayo, I don't think it's looking good. By the way, that they still haven't signed him yet, and I don't know. I think he wants other options. It looks like.
It's not that he wants other options. It's the Yankees. DJ LeMayo wants to stay with the Yankees. DJ LeMayo loves the Yankees. DJ LeMayo is amazing with the Yankees. But it's the Yankees that aren't giving him the offer of $30 million a year, which is what he's going to go for.
He's not going. I heard he's going for 25.
He's going for 30. They were offering him 25.
Correct.
I heard they offered him 20, and he's going for 25.
Maybe you have that right. Anyways, basically they're not offering him. He wants to stay with the Yankees. It's just the Yankees who are not budging so far. But I think. I do think that they will end up taking him because he's just such an unbelievable player.
And the Yankees can't pass on him. And they will
It would be so disrespectful
to pass up on him.
to pass up on LeMayo after I don't think he's done for just $17 million for 2 years, which is a joke for the MVP type player that he's been these past 2 years.
Either way, thank you, Efrain, for coming on the show, as I will keep giving you updates on the Seahawks-Rams game. So again, thank you, Efrain. We liked your opinions, and we will have you on the show again later on.
Thank you so much for having me. It was unbelievable. I really had a great time. It's always a great time with you, Akiba.
Thank you. What'd I do this time?
Nothing. You didn't do anything. Just make sure to have me back on the show.
We will. I will.
And I hope the show is up and growing, since I know this is your first episode.
It is.
Of your podcast. So I really just wish you luck, and
thank you so much. Thanks, Efrain, for coming on the show. And as we are in the fourth quarter, and the Rams offense is not backing down and looking good for the Rams. But I would like to conclude this episode with one last thought of mine. As yes, I would put my money on. I would put my money on the Ravens, because the Titans' defense has been their weakness, the whole factor. And I don't see that. Like, I could see the Ravens, like, not stopping per se, but be able to contain as much as they need for their offense to do their job. Derrick Henry, like, let's say, limit them to under 30 points, and then have their offense, which in my mind and a lot of people's minds, won't be able to be stopped by the Titans defense. So I would put on the my bet would be on the Ravens this week, like the surprising good bet. Either way, another thing I would like to see you to win is I would like to see to win is the Browns, because I'm not a friend of the Steelers. I thought they were overrated to begin the season, and I want to see some progress. Even though I mentioned before I don't like Baker Mayfield, I really like their core pair running backs, and I would like to see them win. Someone who I think would be would like. There's always every week of the playoffs. There's always like a team that says. There's always a team that says, "Oh, they left us out, but we never gave up." Like there's always a thing in the playoffs. It's like a big aspect of the playoffs in week 1. As right now, the Rams have scored a field goal to make it a 10-point game, 23-13, and I think this team is. I would have thought the Colts, but since they've lost already, like the Colts would have been, oh, nobody trusted us, but we came out and did the job, and we never doubted ourselves. But it would have been the Colts, in my opinion, if they would have won. But I think it could still be the Browns, but I don't. Not the Browns. Also the Browns, but the Bears. But I don't think the Bears are going to win, so I don't think they're such a big aspect. And the Browns will be that team in my mind. Either way, that would conclude the first episode today. And thanks for listening. Hope you had a good time, and we'll be back with episode 2.